All right, so
Absolutely.
let's get into the first question. So when we're dealing with our partner being like that, what is one of the ways that people can, one, recognize it, and two, deal with narcissistic behavior from their partner in dealing with and resolving conflict?
Yeah. So when you said someone like that, you mean someone with narcissistic traits or someone you think might be narcissistic?
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yes.
exactly. First, we have to be able to recognize what it is and maybe even give it a name because sometimes we may not know, right, what
Right.
it is. And because
Right.
there are certain personality traits. And then if they fit these, if this they fit this quota or this would you call it? These
Um,
traits, then
a personality. I
okay.
mean, in the diagnostic manual, it's a personality disorder. So
Mhm.
it's like the idea that these personality traits are at such a high level that it's creating an impairment in the person's life. So, I mean, like, what are these traits and what does narcissism mean and what does it look like? Um, I define it as self-absorbed, pride-protecting, empathy lacking, greed-driven individuals who hurt other people in order to protect their fragile egos and maintain their status as superior, special, or perfect.
Oh.
Um, Trying to cover a lot in a few lines there.
I think you jammed it
Um,
all together there.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so those are the traits, but how
Because
do they kind of show up, right? Because sometimes we can have the words, but give us the what does that embody? What does that look like in a person?
So yeah, what does that look like in a person? Like you want to know the telltale signs.
Yep.
And so yeah, those are the character traits. But I would say the first dead giveaway that you are interacting with a narcissist once you start to get close, because look, some people, kind of like to brag and show off,
Right,
or
right.
maybe they can be a little bossy. That doesn't mean they're a narcissist or that they have a personality disorder. That's their
Exactly.
personality style, of course. But the chief characteristic of narcissism is an inability to self-reflect and connect to their shame. And so what that means is they can't acknowledge their own character flaws and deficiencies. And so what happens in a relationship or in communication when you're dealing with somebody like that is at the first sign of conflict or disagreement, they're not going to be able to take in your perspective or your experience or anybody else's. If it challenges their worldview or their perception of themselves as amazing or perfect and unflawed, they're just not going to allow that in. They're going to deflect. And then there comes all of the manipulation tactics to avoid shame. And that is, the projection and seeing that you're doing what they do or gaslighting and all these things. So if you can't have an initial conversation with someone like, hey, look, that comment hurt my feelings, or, when you did X, Y, and Z, and have it be okay that you brought it up and be able to resolve it together. And where both people feel heard and understood, then that's a sign that you might be dealing with someone who has these issues.
So can one of the signs, so when you're talking about this, let's just say the person did something wrong or what everyone else would view as behavior that was not considerate of someone else, or they actually did something that, or they maybe hurt someone else's feelings or brought harm in some kind of way, or did something that was probably, shouldn't have been done. And you bring it to them. So it's a sign that they just initially from the top just won't accept it. It's like they'll project immediately. Well, XYZ, is that kind of like one of the signs?
Yeah, and something that they'll do even further to that or worse than that is they'll somehow make you feel bad for even bringing it up. So sometimes people have a hard time taking constructive criticism, and they'll say, well, I only did that because this and that. And I don't think that means they're a narcissist. They might have trouble with feedback. They might have an ego, sure. But a narcissist is going to really put you back in your place and shame you for even daring to bring up something about them, like even going there with them. They're going to make you feel bad for saying it. They're
They're going to point out
guilt
all
you
the ways that it was your fault for even bringing it up. I did this
Yes.
because you said this or you acted this way. This is all your fault, not mine.